Welcome back, Vol fans. Glad to be with you today. And Bob, we're glad to talk about a little Tennessee baseball day too. They are on the diamond finally.
Yeah,
Season started.
yeah. They're 2 games in, and so far has looked fantastic. Now, you're going to hear us say a few times here probably how, the competition is not good. Hofstra, not a great baseball team, and this year's probably one of their weaker teams, honestly. But, when you win the first game, 15-0, second game, 18-1, that's pretty strong. Um, you know, uh, and currently, as we're recording this, they're up 4-1 at the top of the second inning. So it looks like offense is not going to be a problem again today. Uh, but I guess the storylines for me for the first part of the thing. Let's start with pitching. Liam Doyle looks like he's increased his velocity. I mean, he transfers from Ole Miss, which gave us fits last year when we played him. I guess so much that we wanted him on our team, and but he hit 100, in the first game. Had outstanding game, 11 strikeouts, no walks. I mean, you really couldn't expect any more out of him. I
No,
mean,
gave us 5 innings. A great debut in Orange.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that was a big time transfer get at the time, and he looks like the real deal.
Oh yeah, it looks like he's even better than he was last year. And then, another kind of, I'm gonna say a little bit of a surprise is Marcus Phillips getting the start. He's a guy with a lot, tremendous amount of talent. They keep saying, and you can see it when you watch him pitch. Uh, I mean, he's elite. Uh, the biggest problem with Phillips though has been since he's been there has been control, and it's a little bit of a confidence issue from what I've been told from listening to other people. He looked great in practice, and you know he's a guy who can make a difference in this team. I mean, as far as going from being a really good team to elite team, Phillips could be that guy who makes a big difference in his team. Uh, let's go to the bat, and I tell you what, probably the thing that was probably the storyline of the weekend for me is the freshman. I mean, who you thought was going to be good? Gavin Killen's had a great first 2 games and all that, and some other guys have had great games. But the freshman, Levi Clark, he's 3 for 3 with a walk, double and a home run. That guy did him some good this weekend. Manny Marin, I would not be shocked if he's not a starter somewhere. I mean, they need to. Only problem with a lot of these guys is trying to figure out where they're going to go. But
Yeah,
you
a lot
know,
of talent in front of him.
he was 2 for 4 with a walk. Chris Newstrom was 2 of 3 with a double. Stone Lawless was 1 of 3 with a double and a walk. And the guy who we thought would be the top freshman on the team, Jay Abernathy, was just 1 of 2, but um, so far, and he was thought to be probably a lock at left field, and not. But you got 5 guys who, man, I, I don't know what they're going to do with them, but I'm going to think a couple of them's going to have to start somewhere, either DH. I don't know if Marion can get in at third base, Fisher stay at first. Um, I think the odd man out may be Bargo, though. I think he's a good player, a utility guy that can go a lot of different places. But
Kind of a jack of all trades, master of none.
yeah,
Kind of like a tweener sometimes in football. Um, he might find himself in a similar situation.
it's going to be tough. I mean, you have the transfer from North Carolina who is currently under trying to get an appeal. But honestly, I, I'm so crazy talk here, but he's going to struggle to get the light up. I mean, I think we're that good across the board. Uh,
It's competition, and in early season like this, Bob, we're going to see a lot of different lineups over the next 3 4 weeks.
we will.
Um, Tony has some opportunity to be a little chess master here, trying to figure out how he's going to arrange these pieces on the board. Uh, and as a coach, that's a lot better than trying to find a piece or two that's not on there, you know.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
So,
we've talked a little bit about it before we shot the video. You know, it's common to go into the season at this point, and you've got a lot of question marks on like who's going to be starting here, who's going to be starting there. But a lot of times it's like, okay, you're your eighth, ninth guy, seventh guy in the lineup, batting lineup. There's some concerns with their hitting a lot of times. Uh, this year, I think it's like, okay, we've got this guy here, and we think he's going to hit over 300, but he may not be able to break our starting lineup. You know what I mean? I mean, I think we're going to be that strong.
yeah. Well, I tend to agree with you, Bob. But once again, this is Hofstra, so
Yeah, I don't want to, you know,
temper your expectations a little bit.
I don't want to go ahead and
Crown
the
them now.
second panic, you know,
Yeah.
the second championship.
2 games in.
2 games in, but we're going to win it all again.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Okay. On to baseball, Tim. I mean, the basketball. Um, you know, kind of an up and down week to start the week.
Well, the first 3 halves, I would say, not good.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, 3 games.
This was what we thought would be revenge week. Well, we didn't get it against Kentucky.
No.
And in the first half of the Vanderbilt game, we certainly we was getting something, but it wasn't revenge.
No, we looked bad, and Vandy looked great the first half.
Yeah. Turned around second half, and total domination. Zakai went off.
Mm-hmm.
Lanier kept us in the first half, but that his 13 points, I believe it was. It didn't feel like we were in the game anyway, and we wouldn't have been if he hadn't played well. The most thing that I want to say on this game is Jamal Meshack keeps shooting the ball.
It's got to, man. I know we've mentioned this several times, but you can't have the defense playing 5-on-4. I mean,
And they do. They leave him unguarded way too
I
often.
mean, yeah, they could be 10 foot off of him when he's on the 3-point line. They're not even.
The other guy's just sagging down, clogging up the middle, keeping, maybe Lanier from bouncing off of a screen.
Yeah.
It's clogging up the other guy's ability to score.
Yeah.
And he shot the ball, shot it well,
Mm-hmm.
and he needs to continue that. He don't have to be 3 or 4. He can be 1 of 4. He can be 1 of 5. Shoot the ball if you're gun guarded. Make them come out on you and help the other guys.
Right.
Going forward, though, Bob, is I think what this time of year is what we're already looking at. And, yes, Tennessee's top 5 in the country at this point. Could slip after the Kentucky loss.
Right.
But we're still not mentioning for the number 1 seed, Bob. And how do you see that playing out at this point?
It's going to be really interesting, Tim. If we can go 4-1 down the stretch, maybe, splitting the Texas A&M Alabama game. If we can win 1, lose 1 there, and take care of business in the other games, I think we're going to be right there, and a pretty decent shot at number 1 seed, in my opinion, if we can go 4-1 down the stretch.
Yeah, I think we go 4-1. I think we are. That's a lock for the number 1 seed. Myself, we'll see, but because every win is quality in this league this year, with a possible exception of the South Carolina. I don't know if that's going to be a quad 2 or what, or what quad I've not kept up, other than the fact that they've struggled.
Yeah.
But I feel good because of who Bama's got to finish up with. Them slipping.
I mean, they lost Saturday against Auburn, which is not a bad loss, but
no, it was a home game though. That hurts them, so they got to play them again.
But their last stretch of games are they're either going to solidify a 1 seed, probably number 2 seed, probably if they can win out, or they got opportunity to lose a few games. What is their last few games?
Well, they start out Missouri, one of the surprise teams in the conference.
Yeah, good team, can definitely beatable.
Then they got Kentucky.
Right.
Once again, we just found out Kentucky can beat you.
Right.
Then they got, I believe it is Mississippi State before they finish with a murderer's row of Tennessee, Florida, and then at Auburn.
Yeah.
And of course, that's a home game for us.
Right.
So, 3-3 is definitely on the table.
Yeah.
Things go bad for you, maybe worse.
Yeah.
If things go well for you, if you come out 5-1 out of that right there, yeah, you're a lock for number 1 seed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with that. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I do think, unless we struggle down the stretch, I think we got a good shot at least a 1 or 2 seed.
Well, I think unless, like you said, anything can happen. This team's offense has showed that.
Oh, yeah.
At times this year, you just don't know what you're getting at Tennessee.
Right.
But if we play well, handle business, finish 1 loss, 2 losses, I think we're at least a number 2 seed.
Yeah. That's probably the thing. 1 loss, we're probably a 1 seed down the stretch. 2 losses, we're probably a 2 seed. But 3 losses could get interesting.
Yeah.
Could drop to a 3 seed.
Yeah. Could still stay through, though.
Could.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
A lot of it depends on, like you said, what other people do, too.
It is. And this conference is so strong. This year, we're going to get this. I'll be shocked if this conference doesn't get the benefit of the doubt for a few teams when it comes to seeding this year.
Yeah, and when we don't want to forget about the fact that you got the SEC tournament. So that could change things a little bit too, especially the first
couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, looks like the committee pretty much doesn't even watch the Sunday games, the last games, maybe even the one before that sometimes, depending on who it is.
Yeah, the weekend is almost unnecessary for your seeding. Seems like. Going over to the Lady Vols, Bob. They've got a game tipping off today, and just continues to be a fun story, a good feel-good story for University. Coach Caldwell has got me thinking that this team can win most seasons. I mean, they're not going to win the national title. They don't have the talent. They don't have a lot of things. They have problems sometimes. You see issues with the team.
Right.
But that said, they play everybody tough. They can win any game.
I agree. And, one thing to think about that could aid us a little bit in a tournament setting is the fact that we play such an up-tempo game, play a lot of players. When you get playing, deep, if they could get deep into a tournament where they're running a lot of these teams, that could be interesting, I guess. But for me, it's got me excited about the Lady Vols again. And the big thing is that, and I can look at the future and see, with the incoming freshman class, maybe top 1 or 2 class in the country next year, as we've mentioned, go with Cooper and Whitehorn coming back. Next year's team, I'm already looking forward to next year's team.
Yeah. And, I know some people will be upset when I say this, but, watching the ladies' game can be brutal at times. Depending on the teams particularly.
Right.
I mean, there's always some teams that are just, good teams, good fundamentals. But, the amount of layups and stuff like that can be blown, can really make you just ignore the women's game at times.
Yeah.
And I have for the last few years.
Right.
But I'm happy, man. I'm just pleased with the fact that, another Tennessee sport that we can get excited about volleyball.
Yeah, and then this is, and kind of going back to what you were just saying, this is a team that's fun to watch compared to a lot of others. It's exciting.
It is. Tip of the hat to Danny White for pulling in a younger coach that really had not coached at anywhere near this level.
Yeah, so far Danny White's looked like a superstar AD so far.
Yeah, he has. And in particular, when it comes to basketball, everywhere he's been, he's made the good hires.
Yeah.
So, anyway, guys, I know spring practice is coming up here soon. We'll be doing previews of every position group.
Yeah.
Probably, and of course, we'll talk about some guys who will not be playing in the spring because of surgeries and whatnot. But it's a big spring for a lot of guys. and we're ready for that to crank up. We'll start putting them out in probably a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
Drop them every couple of days, maybe.
Position previews.
Mhm.
We'll start with the linebacker group, we believe, on that one. And that one should be an interesting to talk about. There's a lot of talent in that room.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of new faces, a lot of talent.
There is. So, guys, join us for those when they come out. And till the next time, I'd have to say go Big Orange.
Absolutely, go Vols.